Ladies and gentlemen.
Elvis Presley playing guitar was just a different type of animal. That instrument, when he didn't just strap it around his neck, but actually played it, brought out a new level of energy. Even if it was playing the piano, it really made him engage and just be all in the performance. I think that's one of the things that the 70s performances lacked. You know, in the 70s, Elvis had a big stage to fill and he wasn't going to necessarily do what he had to do and have the guitar strapped around his neck and drag around the standing mic everywhere. But whenever he did go back to, say, the piano in the 70s for You'll Never Walk Alone or others, it was magic.
I have a lot of people ask me if I still play the guitar or if I could play the guitar. And the answer is no. And I'm going to actually play the guitar. I know 3 chords, believe it or not. But I faked them all for a long time.
Elvis may not have been a professionally trained musician, but he definitely knew what he was doing out there. And if you look at the performances where Elvis actually plays the guitar, they're on a whole nother level. Elvis's longtime friend Johnny Cash had this to say about Elvis's guitar playing ability. Elvis didn't say much. He didn't have to. Of course, his charisma alone kept everyone's attention. The thing I really noticed that night, though, was his guitar playing. Elvis was a fabulous rhythm player. He'd start into That's Alright Mama with his own guitar alone, and you didn't want to hear anything else. So let's talk a bit about Elvis on the guitar. And at first I was like, man, you know, whenever he plays the guitar, he is just, so much better. But then I'm like, you know what? When he would even play the piano, the performances were just brought to another level. And like I said, it just really made Elvis engage in the performance. You know, it's cool when, you know, he'd play with the audience, and sometimes he'd be bored with his songs at times. But if you put a guitar around his neck, if it wasn't, you know, for CC Rider or I Got a Woman, like even in '69, you could tell he would go back to the mic stand and put his guitar back on for like Mystery Train and those other songs. So when he was playing an instrument, he was much more engaged, and it just made for a so much better performance. Now, we know Elvis wasn't like a solo type guitar player like, you know, Jimi Hendrix or people of that time, Eric Clapton. He wasn't known as a guitar player, but especially in the 50s, you didn't see him barely without a guitar. He basically, as we know, played rhythm guitar, and he always had it on him, and so much so that Milton Berle noticed this, and he told Elvis before he performed Hound Dog, he said, son, take the guitar off you. Take it off. Don't hide behind it. You don't need it. And thankfully he did that, because that gave us one of the greatest performances of Hound Dog and really took Elvis's career to another level because of the criticism. But at least they were speaking about Elvis. You know, as they say, you know, any type of press is good press. Even the greats knew that Elvis was good at guitar, like Johnny Cash, who toured with Elvis a lot in the early 50s before they both became famous. He says something to the effect of Elvis was really an underrated but a very good rhythm guitar player. The world knew about Elvis and his guitar playing, but they really noticed it and became a revelation when Elvis did the sit-down portions of the comeback special, and especially when One Night with You was released. I believe it was in 1986. It was actually the year he was inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame. We see him playing the heck out of that guitar, and I think Scotty was actually a little worried that Elvis was going to break a string on his guitar. I believe the guitar that Scotty owned was a gift. Elvis played so like he was on fire, just so much emotion and passion for his classic hits came through as he was playing the guitar, and it just made for such a great performance, an even better performance. It was cool when Elvis didn't have a guitar and he had the handheld mic and he could move around freely, but also it added another level and another dimension to Elvis's playing ability or performing ability when he actually played, and I think you guys will agree with me with that.
And I'm going to actually play the guitar. I know 3 chords, believe it or not. But I faked them off for a long time.
Elvis would often joke like, I only know 3 chords, because, my take on that is, people kind of looked at him as a great guitar player, but honestly, I think maybe he was a little insecure about the guitar playing. So he would kind of do some self-deprecating humor, like, I only know 3 chords. So, it's just, but even, in 1974, in some of the audience footage, and you can hear this on some of the soundboards, and the one I'm referring to is from October 1974. People asked him, he said, do I still play the guitar, or can I play the guitar? And he'd be like, well, the answer is no. I mean, yes.
I have a lot of people ask me if I still play the guitar, or if I could play the guitar. And the answer is no. I mean, yes, I can.
It seemed like, though, in the mid to later 70s, that he was trying to purposely get the guitar on again, because maybe people were talking, and some of the older fans in the comment section can chime in here. Was the general public kind of thinking that Elvis really didn't play the guitar much anymore, especially since, after people like Chuck Berry and stuff of the 50s, the hardcore solo acts became more popular in the later 60s and the 70s. Maybe Elvis felt a little insecure and wanted to prove, hey, I can play this thing a little bit, because in like 76, he put on the guitar for Reconsider Baby. And he wasn't totally shy. He just sorted to leave it as the 70s progressed. But like I said earlier, in 69, he played it quite often, the acoustic. He even had a portion of the show where he'd sit down on a stool, bring out his electric guitar, and sing, and perform for Runaway, Are You Lonesome Tonight, Yesterday. And also, some of you know, as you can tell by the picture I've used, from the Houston Astrodome, he played an electric guitar, and that was for It's Now or Never or One Night. And it also often kind of surprised me how Elvis, he had a good natural ear. He knew the guitar well enough to know, like, okay, so this, I want to make this sound, and this is how the words go. So I know this would be an E minor or a G or a G minor or A. He was able to play along with his own songs, or a song that he wanted to play. You can tell it surprised me, like It's Now or Never. He just knew how to play that. I don't think he necessarily learned and looked at a chord sheet.
Just like a willow, we would cry an ocean if we loved in this way. It's now or never. Come home, my timey tight.
It also surprised me during the That's the Way It Is rehearsals in July 1970 that Elvis played Now and Then There's a Fool Such as I. And I'm like, wow, he actually knows how to play that. I mean, it's not too complex, but Elvis could play what he wanted to play.
Now and then, as a fool such as I am, now and then, as a fool such as I am.
And Elvis even moved up the fretboard for songs like Love Me, we could see during the 68 special. So he definitely had some musical chops.
I would beg and steal just to feel.
Another point I want to make, which I think is kind of an underground story, during the Jailhouse Rock sessions, Bill Black was playing the bass, and he normally would play the stand-up bass while a different style bass guitar was used, and Bill wasn't having too much success with it. He wasn't maybe practiced enough. So for the song Baby I Don't Care, Bill just couldn't get it down. And Elvis says, let me try it, and he actually was able to get the bass solo for Baby I Don't Care. A lot of you don't know that. He was able to get the bass run for that, and Bill was actually probably a little embarrassed by that, and he actually, you know, he left the recording session because of it. But Elvis, he really surprised me. Not to mention when he would play the piano, he had that same type of ability just to be able to by ear play, because he wasn't a trained pianist or guitar player. A lot of guys, the guys in the South, maybe in Tupelo, would teach Elvis the guitar, but he was really self-taught in a lot of areas. He could feel around and play the chords for You'll Never Walk Alone. He'd joke about, you know, Show Me the Chords to Charlie when he played
Show me the right
Unchained
keys.
Melody. Both were powerful, powerful performances that wouldn't have been the same without Elvis playing the piano. So I think I made my point that Elvis playing the piano or the guitar was, he just made his recordings so much better. The performance is so much better. He really got more immersed in the performance, and it's just so enjoyable to listen to. And another point I want to make is Elvis, I wish he would have played the guitar a little more during his recordings. As far as I know off the top of my head, after the Elvis's back sessions, he really didn't use it too much, unless it maybe be during the Nashville sessions or a little bit during the Memphis sessions in 69 and 70. Like the Like a Baby, the intro, Elvis was actually on the intro at first, but he just didn't stick with it. He said he couldn't do two things at once, and they took over, or his guitarist took over. But tell me if you don't think that Elvis's intro is actually better.
Rolling.
Hold it. Can't think of two things at once.
Well, guys, I spoke for a lot. This is my thoughts on the matter. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Please hit the like button. It helps it grow and expand the channel. And we'll talk to you next time.